Ladies and gentlemen, I have a problem with my Golf 1.6 tdi. I'm getting a fault P0203 and P0606. Today I'm going to try and repair this. I'm going to show you from start to finish how I go about to complete this job. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the fault that this is creating. So just bear with me in a second. Let me just set up the stand and the camera so you can see better the screen of my diagnostic laptop. So as you can hear, the engine is running on 3 cylinders, and the reason that is I believe my injector number 3 is gone. I have selected make, model, year, and the type of engine I have is CAYB, which is the 90 horsepower. I believe the YC is 105 horsepower. I have been told that these are all the same injectors. So I'm gonna read faults. I'm gonna connect to my ECU. No connection with the ECU. Let me just try and sort this out. So connection established, and all I did is I just unplugged my USB. You can see my device is now flashing, so it's reading the ECU. Yeah, I just disconnected this, plugged it back in, went to connect, and that's how I was able to finish the communication. So I connected to the ECU. So I'm going to read the faults now. So as you can see, P0203 cylinder 3 injector circuit permanent. So it's a permanent issue. I did get P0606 fault, but I was able to clear that. So this is the only one that it's permanently stored in the ECU. I have done a previous video, which I'm gonna link to this whole video, how I checked the resistance on each one of the 4 injectors, and I was able obviously to tell by this fault and by measuring the resistance in the injectors that my number 3 injector is faulty. I was able to get on cylinder 1, 2 and 4 200 kilo ohms, which is 200,000 ohms, and on cylinder 3, which is the faulty one, I was only able to get 6 to 9 ohms. I'll show you how I'm gonna go about to diagnose if I have any issues with bad injectors or bad wiring. This is a 2009 Volkswagen Golf 1.6 tdi. It's the CAYB engine, which is 90 horsepower engine. It's creating a fault P0203, which means that there's an open circuit on cylinder 3. If you get P0201, means this is relating to cylinder 1. P0202 means obviously cylinder 2. P0203, as I said, I have that fault for cylinder 3, which is right here. The cylinder numbers start from left to right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. As you can see, I have disconnected the plugs, so I'm gonna check. I'm gonna put my multimeter in the ohm, in the resistance function. So I'm gonna measure the ohms on each injectors, each one of these 4 injectors. I have already checked the resistance on the number 1, which I know it's 100% good. So 1, 2 and 4 are working fine. I got 201 kilo ohms. So it's quite hard to stabilize the pins. But if you can actually, if I can get this to show you. So it's stabilizing now. It's gonna go up to about, it went up to about 201 kilo ohms. So yeah, let's say that the spec for this is 200 kilo ohms. I'm gonna do the same on number 2. I know number 1 is good. number 2, 200 kilo ohms. Number 4, I'm gonna skip on purpose number 3 because I know this is where the problem is. Again, 200 kilo ohms. So let's hope our problem is not with the wiring, it's with the injector. I think it's gonna be a probably quicker solution. It may not be cheaper, but it's gonna be quicker. So it's showing difference. Put this properly here. I'm getting about 8.6 ohms. So clearly big difference, and possibly the coil in this injector is gone, so not possibly 99.9 sure. So this is our problem, bad injector. Please stay tuned, and I hope I help somebody else with the same problem. I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna unplug injector 2 circuit, and obviously hoping that the engine is not gonna stall, but it should run on 2 cylinders. It's gonna create a fault for P0202, and then I'm gonna show you when I clear it how the engine runs again on 3 cylinders, just so I can show you how this fault is created and how you can tell whether it's your injector wiring or something else. The engine is running on 3 cylinders. The cylinder 3, which is the bad one, I'm just gonna disconnect the cable to see that nothing changes. So obviously this is faulty. Nothing changed. Just watch now when I disconnect number 2 what's gonna happen. Engine running on 2 cylinders. Okay, as you can hear, the engine is running on 2 cylinders. I'm gonna read faults again, and just watch what happens. P0202 cylinder 2. I'm gonna go and erase the faults. Just listen carefully to what happens. I have plugged it back in. So cylinder 2 is plugged in back again. Car is running on 3 cylinders. What's the fault? P0203. That's my problem. This is the new-ish second-hand injector that I'm gonna install. And if you're curious like myself, if you're wondering what's going to happen if you plug this in here and read the faults and try to erase them, would that obviously, by being a good injector, I have checked the resistance on these 2 pins and it's 200 kilo ohms, so it matches the same as the other 3 injectors, 1, 2 and 4, and it's exactly the same. It is exactly the same part number as well, 277B. That it ends on 277B, so it's 03L 130 03L 130277B. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna plug it in. Obviously I'm not gonna turn the engine on, but I am going to turn the ignition on and hook up my diagnostic tool, try and read the faults and then clear them. Now, it could be a mistake doing this. It might not do anything. I don't know if the injector has to be grounded or anything, but I'm just gonna do it for the purpose of the video and just out of curiosity, just to see for myself what will happen. Okay, so we're back at the diagnostic tool. I'm gonna turn the ignition on. I have connected the third injector. I'm gonna go and read faults. And then I'm gonna see what happens. Would that help the fault to go away? So the fault is here. I'm gonna delete the fault. It says no fault codes. I'm gonna read it again. No fault codes. Haha! Look at this. By plugging in the injector into the wiring, it's not in the engine, but by having a good circuit, whether it's the piezo crystal that are completely gone, I'm not sure, but it was open circuit, and this has now helped me to clear the fault. So let's hope that this fixes the problem. We're back at the engine bay. It's about time to do a bit of mechanical work, so we have finished with the diagnostics. As I said, I've checked the resistance on all injectors. I've realized that the number 3, the bad injector, has a resistance of 6 to 9 ohms. The rest of them, including the new second-hand injector, have 200 kilo ohms. So this is the spec for these injectors. Again, I'm saying this is a 1.6 tdi VW Golf. I'm sure it's the same on Audi, any of the Skoda Seats that have the same engine. This is the 90 horsepower engine. I believe is the same for the 75 for CADDY, 90105. The engine code for this here is CAYB. I believe B means that it's 90 horsepower and C is the higher powered engine with 105 horses. So let's get to work. I am gonna disconnect this injector. Just be very careful. So injector 3 wiring disconnected. You can push the plug a little bit and then pull it back. I find this is the easiest way to remove it. And then you just unclip this from the high pressure hose, just to save yourself the hassle. Disconnect the turbo actuator plug as well in the same way and move this safely out of the way. I'm just going to clip it here so it doesn't come back. And what I'm going to do here, I'm not going to obviously touch 1 and 2. There's nothing that I need to do there, but on this side here, number 3 and 4 are held in place by this metal bracket. So you have one Torx bolt, which is a stretch bolt. VW recommends to replace it. They're not expensive. I'm in the UK. I paid about £1.30 plus VAT, so about, yeah, I think it was just over 150 for one of the bolts. I have got another one spare in case I need to do the other side at some point, but for now I'm gonna be replacing number 3 injector. In order to do that, obviously I will have to lift both, as they're held in place by this bracket here. So I'm gonna start by disconnecting the high pressure connectors here, the hoses, the high pressure pipes. And I have been told when I loosen these to then tighten it back here enough so I can wiggle the injector, and it will help obviously with the injector to pull out. Yeah, so I'm gonna start working now, and hope I help others with the same thing. So you're gonna need a 17 millimeter spanner. It is quite tight here. It is quite tight, but you just have to manage somehow. So I've disconnected, I've loosened the connection to the injector. What I might do, I don't want to get any diesel leaking into the hole around the injector. So I'm going to put some rags. Give me a few minutes, I'll be back. I'm just going to pause this for a second or two. So I have my rags. I'm going to place them underneath the pipe here. And please, if this is boring you and if you know how to do this, feel free to fast forward and just get to the part that you want to see. I'm not trying to make money off this. I really genuinely want to help people out, because it took me about just over a day to figure everything out, and I'm trying to create a video that is going to help a lot of people, and it's going to be simple, easy and easy to follow. So yeah, I have placed the rags underneath the pipes here. I'm going to loosen this side of the pipe. It's quite windy today, so I'm doing my best with what I have to record this video. I don't have a professional setup, but I'm gonna do my best to record a quality video for everyone to be able to follow and hopefully help to fix your car as well. So this is one metal bracket for the return pipe. So you literally get one of these picks, put it in place, pull it out, and then the return pipe should hopefully come out. You could try and pry it a little bit. Yeah, I have completely pulled the pin out. This is what it looks like. Let me focus a little bit. So yeah, remember what way it goes, and yeah, just put it back in place later on. I'm going to put this away for now, and then I'm going to do the other side as well. So number 3, which is obviously the one I'm trying to change. So it goes like that. The straight bit is on the top and the curved part is on the bottom. Sorry. This is on the top and this is on the bottom when you put it back in place. Now, time for the return pipes to come out. It should be easy enough. Just gently pry it off. Tiny bit of pressure, don't go mad. That's it, you have a green O-ring on it, which I'm not going to be replacing today. I couldn't find the part. VW didn't have it in stock, but it's not a problem. I can do it at a later point if there's any leaks. Yeah, I don't obviously have to remove a whole lot of parts to do that, so I'm going to leave it as it is for now. As you can see, it's not that difficult. This is number 3. Lift it up and just keep it up. I don't want it to leak any diesel, so have to find a way to just keep this up, and I don't want to contaminate any more in here with diesel, so bear with me. I'll show you what I've come up with to seal the diesel pipes. This might look like a bit of a waste of time, but I'm just going to do it anyway. So I have these rubber caps, rubber grommets this is from BMW side trims. They're on the clips and they're nice and soft, and I've cut some the tips from a glove. So I'm going to put it on first. I'm going to put the glove on to seal it a bit better, and then I'm going to put the cap on. So this might be useless for this purpose, but it will give you an idea in some other application it might be handier. So I will put them down, so I don't want any leaks here in the area. So that's the reason I'm doing it. It probably will be a good idea to cover these injectors with something, so I might try and find something for that as well. Maybe another tip from a rubber glove. So I'll be back in a second as well to cover these as well. So I'm back again. I've cut these tips. I'm going to cover them. Don't want to get any dust in them. And I've also cut one more for the newish injector that I'm going to be installing. So next step is to remove the bolt here that holds the two injectors in place, and you need to have an M8 spline bit socket. Pretty easy to remove so far. Sorry, it's out of focus. So pretty easy to remove this. Now it's probably the hardest part, to actually remove the injectors. Obviously there's only one way they can go, because I mean, at the end of the day, you can see your hoses, your wiring, the plugs are facing, the pins are facing this way to the left of the engine bay. So again, this bracket here holds them in place, so you can't really go wrong. That's the bolt. I have a new bolt that I'm going to use, and I think the correct torque for these is 8 Newton meters plus 180 degrees after that. So to make my life a bit easier, I have decided to use my slide hammer. So you can see what the slide hammer looks like. I'm sure you've seen one before. It just slides back and forward, hits this here, and then obviously pulls the part that you want. So I have done that on number 3, and literally it needed almost like no force. I'm going to do the same. Just find a good spot. Now don't put a crazy amount of impact, just a little bit to get it going. That's it. Feels a lot closer. That's it. This is number 3 and 4 injectors. So I'm just gonna show you here what the injector holes look like when you remove the injectors. This is a car which has 123,000 miles. So obviously you need to clean this up before you install the injectors back again. So new copper seals, copper washers, whatever you want to call them, on both injectors, and the new rubber oil seals for them as well. But again, I'm going to put some cloth there so I don't obviously get any dirt inside the cylinder head, and I'm going to clean it up with brake cleaner, and then we'll be back again to see the installation of the injectors. Back again just to show you what I come up with. I got a clear hose, and then I connect into a thicker hose, bigger diameter, and then I'm going to end up with this setup. So this is my dust extractor or hoover or vacuum cleaner, whatever you have. So I'm going to use this to clean up the mess. I'm going to be spraying brake cleaner a tiny bit. Be careful because you have your camshaft there, so you don't want to put too much. I'm just going to try and get it into the I'm going to vacuum first, and then a little bit of just literally a couple milliliters of brake cleaner, and then I'm going to suck it out, spray and clean at the same time. So I'm going to do one side first, and then I'm going to show you the other one, just so you can see what I'm doing. Next step is to install the copper washers onto the injectors. So as you can see, they're eccentric in a way. If you can see, they have these little like pins that stick out and give a little bit of grip, so obviously they don't fall off the injector. So I'm going to use just a 10mm socket, I believe it is. It's a 10mm long socket, and then just push it on. So that's the washer on the injector, and the injector ready to go in place. Torque wrench at 8 Newton meters. I've already done that, so mark is on 8 Newton meters here. I don't know if you can see this, it's quite sunny. So that's it, that's 8 Newton meters. You can hear the click. Now from here we have to tighten another 180 degrees, so that's 90. And another 90. That's 180. This is up to spec. Next stage is to connect the return lines. So yeah, it might take a few turns, but let's hope that there's not too much air in the system and it starts. Before I start the engine, I'm gonna turn on and off the ignition maybe 3 or 4 or 5 times just to be sure, and then eventually I'm gonna crank the engine to start it. So remember, just turn the fuel pump on and off a few times, and then after that try and start your engine. Ignition on, off. Second time. 5 times. Now I'm gonna put the camera at the front and I'm gonna try and start the engine. Happy days. This is genuinely first start after putting the injector on. I haven't done it before behind camera. This is it, you see it. I put it in today, cleared the fault, put new parts, away it went the first time. Obviously it took a few cranks to start up, but this is running on 4 cylinders now. Next step is gonna be to hook up the diagnostic tool, read codes and see if there's any fault codes. There's no lights on the dash, which I will show you. Just bear with me. I'm going to take the camera off the stand and I will let you see for yourself. There's absolutely no lights, no engine lights on the dash. So back again, communication established, reading for faults, no fault codes. This is what every mechanic wants to see after a bit of hard work. Hello, so in this part I'm going to show you how to program the new injector that I installed, number 3 injector, which was faulty. So I have done the mechanical part, it's all up and running, engine's running okay, but as you can see here, so first what you want to do, you want to obviously go into your Delphi or whatever program you're using. It doesn't really matter. This is what I have. This, most of you is probably going to have VCDS, Rostec or Vaccom, whatever else. It's as long as it does the job, it doesn't really matter what you use. So obviously go to your settings here, adjustments, click on it, and then in the drop down menu then select what job you want to do, injector programming, and I'll quickly take you through it. What it means, it doesn't mean that obviously you have to code, program, whatever you want to call it. You don't have to do it just because you're buying a part from a VW. I'm sure any other injector, even a non-original, will still have a coding value, some code that you obviously need to code, and what that is actually explains it here. So due to tolerances when manufacturing the injectors, the injected fuel quantity may deviate between the actual and the calculated fuel quantity. After manufacture, these deviations are determined for every injector and a calibration value is determined. So what you see on the actual injector, this code that you have to code into the ECU, which is highlighted here, this is actually a calibrating value. So it's very important for engine to know this calibrating value. Due to different tolerances, it will know exactly how to control your injector and how much fuel to inject and when to stop injecting. I'm sure you can find a lot of information about this. I'm not going to read the whole thing, so I need to code one injector, which is number 3. So I need to have the ignition on, engine off. So I have, just to let you know, my battery is quite good, but obviously I don't want to take any chances when doing something like this. So I have installed a battery charger on the car, just in case the voltage drops. It's not the most powerful injector, it's not the most powerful charger, but it will do the job for what we need. So I'm gonna just go to the very bottom, just see if there is anything else I need to know, and yeah, just gonna click OK. Engine off, ignition on, correct, click OK. So this is telling me now the codes that I have stored in my ECU for each of the 4 injectors. Number 3 here is the one I changed. If I can pause the video to show you the actual injector, I think it will be good for the purpose of this video, just to show you the old one that I replaced and the code on it. So just bear with me until I get the injector and I'll be back in a second. So I'm back again. As you can see on the screen, it's 98GCGG. I hope you can see it here. 98GCGG. This was the old faulty injector that I replaced. So I have recorded the code from the other injector. I'm gonna put it on now. So do you want to write down these injector codes? What I will do is I will take a photo. Oh, sorry, it actually says, do you want to write down new injector code? I will say yes. Choose the injector to be adapted. So it's not 1, it's number 3. So number 3 is the one I want to work with. So write code for injector cylinder 3. It's 8A F E D E. Click OK. Adaption in progress, please wait. Adaption completed, press OK to continue. So these are the new codes now that I have in my ECU for each injector. So number 3 has been changed from whatever it was, 9 something, it's 8A F E D E. I'm happy with this. Choose injector to be adapted, abort. Operation aborted. Okay, that is it. If you want to check it again, just go again, engine off, ignition on. That's the codes. 8A F E D E. Do you want to write down the injector code? No, I just wanted to check them. Press OK to exit the adaption. Okay, function complete. Happy days, another happy customer. Thank you very much for watching.